Hello and welcome to
Yeah.
Dash Force News, episode 4 of the Three Amigos. I'm Mark and I'm joined by my two fellow amigos, Brian and Joel. And guys, what's new in the world of Dash this week?
What's new is the price is still over 150, comfortably so, might I add. So that's there was a little bit of a crypto bloodbath in the markets there for a bit, but now it's standing strong at 166. Yeah, I'm kind of liking that. I'm happy today.
Yeah,
okay.
Bitcoin is taking us down. That's we're good. It's just Bitcoin's taking us down.
Okay, so just for a quick update, just to let everyone know where we're currently at, the current price of Dash is about $166. There's 4,519 active masternodes. There's only 14 days remaining to vote for proposals in the Dash Treasury. The Dash Treasury budget is currently standing at 1.1 million US dollars, and there are currently 10 of 18 proposals that have been approved. So that's the little price index network stats update.
I forgot about the hash rate. Say something about the hash rate, man.
What is the hash
I
rate?
might have to go to someone bring up the ninja stats. I don't know that off the top of my head. Sorry.
An old Amanda joke, because she always used to talk about the hash rate is this, and I was like, I was just wondering about. I was imagining people reading their morning coffee, reading their morning news, and then just like the hash rate. Oh, it's too hashy today. Sorry, I can't go outside.
Well, in terms of rewards, mining,
live in, that we care about things like hash rate. Like the average person is just like, I can see out my window, it's raining outside, but like,
I don't really know. Yeah, I have no idea how exactly how it works. I know it's just it's been up and down like crazy lately. It's almost hit like 6. What is it? Terahashes? Yes.
Yeah, well, obviously on YouTube, there's a big Genesis mining sort of community. It's just YouTube's just flooded with videos with people saying, "Here's my promo code" and all this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And those videos are quite interesting because I've never actually mined it myself, but from the charts and analysis that they do, I believe Dash is still, in terms of Genesis mining, is one of the most rewarding coins that you can have. And I think last time I checked, to actually buy the contracts, it was sold out on Dash. And I believe the next best one was actually Ethereum, but that's mainly because the price of Ethereum has gone up. So whereas before it wasn't so competitive.
I was always scared of that Genesis mining. I don't know, but a lot of people are doing it. I don't know.
Okay. Teller says network hash rate is 5,282.89 gigahashes per second.
Gigahashes?
So now we know.
Excellent.
It changed my day.
Yeah, even though my name is Mastermind, I've never mined a single damn coin in my life. Is it gigahashes, or is it what's the terahashes, right? Or
yeah. So I guess it would be like 1,000 gigahashes would be a terahash. So it's like 5.2 terahashes or something.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, we can.
Here's me speaking in my 5 terahashes. I was gonna say, here's me speaking in my complete ignorance. I'm glad we have someone who actually pays attention to this thing in the live chat, right?
Yes, Michael actually from Dash Force China has Genesis mining contracts, and he's very big on this stuff. So he would be like an ideal person to have in.
Yeah, we probably should. That's something that's interesting is I never hear much about Dash miners at all. Like with Bitcoin, it's always been just miners run the network, and then now it's just like those evil miners that can go away and stop running Bitcoin. So or whatever. There's always like mining kind of stuff going on, and Dash, is a proof of work coin. It needs miners to run the network, but we just never hear about them. We just hear about the master nodes. We hear about. I know that at the Dash Open House in Phoenix a few months ago, they were giving away. They're doing a miner raffle, right? They were giving away a miner, anyway. But like it pops in enough that and there's enough people that come say, "Hey, I want to start mining Dash." I actually did join a Dash mining pool like a year ago on my terrible computer, and I just mined like all day for like a few weeks, and I didn't get anything, and I was just like, was like, even with my free electricity, this isn't even worth it. So yeah, that's my experience with mining.
Yeah, I think I actually tried CPU mining when it was
Yeah, that's what I
Darkcoin.
tried.
Yeah, when it first started out. God knows how much I actually made because with processors in my laptop back then probably wasn't the greatest, and just from the overheating problem, I realized that it probably wasn't the best idea. Obviously, now the world of mining is a lot different, and actually that raffle prize at the open house, that physical mining equipment is like gold dust in the Dash community now, because there's one main manufacturer. I think it's called Baikai or something, Baikai, and they've been sold out for so long, which is why cloud mining now is so popular. So even though you obviously pay a premium, but they obviously look after all those services as well. And although Genesis Mining it says they're located in Hong Kong, they're based in Hong Kong, I believe they're actually really based in Germany. So I think that's for legislation purposes. So I'm still trying to figure out what's really going on behind the scenes there. But it seems it's a very reliable service. As I said, on YouTube, there's so many videos everywhere.
Yes.
You can't really escape it. Yeah, Syka's in the chat. Hi, Syka.
I'm a big fan of a profile picture. It's very, very fun little graphic.
Yeah. Right, guys, let's get more topical. So when we started the podcast, Brian mentioned about the Bitcoin price. We shouldn't really call it a crash. Maybe we'll call it a sea of red, because Bitcoin nearly reached an all-time high of nearly $3,000, and then I believe it went down to about 2,200. But since then, it's had a little bit of correction. So is this just a correction, guys, or is there more to this story? What do you think?
I need to consult my crystal ball.
Yeah, so what I think about the price is, I don't think it's just a correction. I think it has something to do with Bitmain's announcement that they were preparing for a hard fork in August, like a hard fork and split of the chain. And it doesn't mean that it will necessarily happen, but it seems like this is probably the closest we've been to a legitimate chain split in a long time, and the market just gets a whiff of that and goes, and then like everything crashes for a bit, and it gets better. But we'll see what happens if there's come August.
Some people are talking about it's because of this government legislation, but I don't think that has any. I don't think it has a chance to pass. It was just, but maybe just a combination of all that.
It's just so hard to keep up to date with everything that goes on. I was talking to Joelle about it this morning when we were thinking about what articles to publish today, and I was just saying, well, what? Oh, sorry, no, it was yesterday when we did the kind of parody of Captain America: Civil War. Bitcoin drama. Check that out. But when I was designing the image, I was just like, well, hang on, what's going on now? Because it just keeps changing. Like you had the UASF group, and you had SegWit times 2. People are still talking about the Lightning Network. It's just so, I think people are getting so sick and tired of it now. It's just never ending.
Yes, and I'm going to give a small preview of Sunday's op-ed, but I've been watching the Bitcoin debate fairly closely for a long time, and it's kind of transcended past debate. There is no debate anymore. There's no idea behind it. There's no scaling debate. There's no arguments. It's just a conflict, right? And it's a conflict that there needs to be a destruction of one of the two sides, or there just needs to be a split, right? It's just that's just where it's come to socially, right? And you see, it's like, I mean, the history of the arguments have been really pretty extensive, and they've changed so much over the years. I mean, it was always like, Bitcoin's going to need to scale, let's increase the blocks. And then, no, well, we can't increase the blocks. Or it's not like, well, let's not, because that's just a short-term kick the can down the road solution, and it could cause nodes to be too large and centralized nodes or whatever. Let's figure something better out. So for a while, it was big blocks versus let's figure something out.
Yes.
Well,
one thing I was thinking about last night, I don't know if anybody said this, or maybe they have. You know, Bitcoin was built its reputation on only 21 million coins. If there's a split, then we have 42 million, right? I mean, well, there'll be two different. I mean, it's going to be two different Bitcoins.
That's right.
If you split a third time, which is possible, even more. That kind of takes that whole. You know, everybody said, oh, it's only 21 million. Well, you're going to have to choose which. I mean, it's a cluster.
Yeah,
Well,
I've heard maximalist arguments on that. That's why they don't like altcoins, is because according to them, like, and yea, Satoshi descended from the heavens, and he bequeathed unto mankind his limited supply of 21 million coins. But then Satan, in his infinite conniving jerkishness, made altcoins, which ruined Bitcoin's game forever, right? By making literally, that's the argument, is they think that when you make an altcoin, you artificially inflate the supply of Bitcoin, and that messes with Bitcoin's prime function, is to have that limited supply. And I think that's like, no, because it's not Bitcoin. Otherwise, all the altcoins, every single other coin would have the same value as Bitcoin, relative to whatever. It's like, clearly we're talking about different things. It's like someone discovers a mine of gold, and then all of a sudden Bitcoin's more limited because there's more units of things out there. It's like, whoa, okay. Okay, there, buddy.
This sounds so frighteningly familiar, like there's some kind of pattern going on, because, I'm pretty sure there was another cryptocurrency in the top 10 that had governance issues and split because of governance. So this doesn't seem to be an isolated issue, really, does it? Because it always seems to be around the governance issue. And obviously that coin that I'm talking about, or token, I should say, is Ethereum.
Yes.
Although obviously it hasn't really impacted the Ethereum price that much. Classic, I don't know where Ethereum Classic is on CoinMarketCap at the moment.
It's in the top 5, I think.
It's pretty good.
Hold on.
Yeah, it's pretty high.
Yeah, it's
yeah. So it'll be interesting to see, if the split. But I mean, is it going to happen? These arguments going to and fro? It's just like, ugh.
Yeah. Well, here's why I really think it's going to happen finally, is because, as I was sort of narrating the string of arguments, the most recent arguments I heard were, big blocks. Well, it was like, big blocks are not going to help, and Bitcoin Unlimited is a buggy piece of crap. It's not going to work, right? And the other thing, we need SegWit. We need SegWit above all. I don't care what happens. It's not even, is SegWit a scaling solution? We just need SegWit. That's it. That's the only thing we need, just SegWit. It's got to have SegWit, or it's just nothing. So this compromise got reached, right, for SegWit 2x, SegWit plus 2 megabyte hard fork, right? And the big block community viewed that as sort of a semi-defeat, right? Not as in like, we don't want SegWit, but it's getting really bad. We need to do something now. Fine, we'll compromise on this. And then the other side, the camouflage hat wearing side, they just do not accept it at all, and they're just like, no, we don't want that. We don't want SegWit. We want our SegWit. It's like, wait, what? And what they're actually looking to get as far as a product, as far as what happens to Bitcoin, is very murky right now. They want to win. Right, both sides are just like, screw you guys, want to win. The hat wearers, the UASF BIP 148 folks, are focused on just, we got to win. We just want our way, and that's it. The other side is like, well, we've come to a compromise. We're going to follow through on the compromise, and hopefully we can fork those other jerks off the chain and get rid of them forever. So, and the important in all this is, you see, there's a lot of, whenever there's talk of Bitcoin's, just dropping in relevancy, and like right now it's like 38% of all cryptocurrency, and Ethereum's like 32. So it's about to lose its king place. They don't care. There's just no caring about, oh, we got to get this and get Bitcoin. There's no thought on making Bitcoin better, on competing. There's no fear of loss. It's just all like, that's the one thing on their mind, winning the war. So that's why I think there's going to be a split, is because that's all both communities seem to have on their minds.
Well, that's a governance issue, and this is just the first split. Who knows what's going to happen in the future? How many splits they're going to have? I mean, it's crazy.
Let's talk about something more fun and switch up.
My package. my package is gonna probably be here. So yeah,
Woof.
they always talk about my package, and it's important. My package.
Yes,
Okay.
the Amazon.com package, not your lower third package.
Yeah, let's segue into the BitCart thing because that has to do with the packages too. So yeah, there's been some problems with BitCart here lately, not just with myself, but there was other people in the Slack who's had some issues. Now, Joel said part of it might have had to do with the DDoS attack that they had, but either way, yeah, I ordered a new webcam and we troubleshot it today, but it didn't. It just barely got here in time, and that's because I ordered a BitCart on Saturday. And then, yeah, it took like 4 days and lots of Twitters and emails to finally get it. And yeah, I normally, their service is good, but we have been seeing some stuff, so hopefully they'll get that worked out.
Yeah, I've noticed. I got mine in like my last one, like 26 hours. They've been under DDoS attack and a bunch of growing pains. So it's always one of those things of like have patience with those kinds of services and sort of expect them to be new and rocky in experience, right? Like I mean, how many times in the early days of Purse do we do like we want a 20% discount and you're waiting for a week before someone picks it up, and then now it's gone really smooth with a lot of usage. They've been at it for a while, so there's a little bit of that stuff going on.
Yeah,
In
normally their service is great. I have no other complaints, but yeah, yeah, something's happened. I guess it had to do with the DDoS. I'm not sure, but yeah,
in their defense, they did tweet out that they're experiencing problems and they're working on it. And obviously this week they've taken on a bigger development team as well. So there may be development work going on behind the scenes, but they have apologized and they have addressed it via their Twitter account.
Yes. So Saika asks in the live chat, have any of you used eGifter? And yes, I have used it, and it was a lifesaver for me a lot last year because last spring I closed my bank account and tried to live entirely off of Bitcoin. And as part of that, you just need to have like a Bitcoin debit card for part of it. But that's kind of cheating, right? And I tried to like actually buy things in Bitcoin or use gift cards. Now GYFT gift, they were requiring one Bitcoin confirmation at the time. And the first time that really hit me to where that was a problem was where I really noticed is I was in some mall trying to buy something, and I was like, all right, I think I figure out what I want. And then I bought the gift card, and then it was like a half hour to an hour of just walking around waiting for that thing to confirm. So eGifter initially had it where they didn't take any confirmations. Like they didn't need any confirmations. And the interesting thing about them is so you could get like a gift card for a precise amount on a few things. For example, I went to Dunkin' Donuts, got like a coffee and a little sandwich, and it was like $5.47, right? $5.47. Then I went to, while it was like ringing up or whatever, I put a gift card in. I bought an eGifter gift card for $5.47, and it confirmed instant. I mean, it went through instantly, and then I just paid for it right in line. So it was just like literally a Bitcoin to gift card conduit. Then they apparently had a lot of double spend problems because whatever, and they switched to only accepting Coinbase for Bitcoin, and that lasted a few weeks, and then they switched to BitPay using like a BitPay invoice. And I think that's where they're at now. I have contacted them about accepting Dash because that would be great. You could just instant send to a gift card that's the exact amount, and then you could just go to the movies, go out to like a chain restaurant, go do your shopping, whatever on Dash like right now.
What kind of discount do they have on the eGifter, or do they have a discount?
So Gift had a discount, and then for the longest time they've had no discount. And lately, I've seen some Gift ads for. They say, "Oh, just this time, this gift card is on sale." eGifter always had like a 2 to 5% discount on stuff. Yeah, and Psycha says you get points. I haven't used eGifter since I stopped using Bitcoin because, yeesh. But anyway, yeah, you get like points and they're worth money, and it's pretty good. I mean, it was pretty good. I haven't heard back from them lately. I emailed my former contact person, who I don't know, might not be with the company anymore, so I have to check in on that and make sure I got the right person. But yeah, if I could just say, look, do a treasury proposal, right, for integration, get integrated with Instant Send, and you're back in business, back to the top of the pack.
These guys, they used to have Walmart. Gift had Walmart for a while, but then it went away, and then eGifter had Walmart. If they get a Walmart gift cards, then you can get gas, or if your Walmart has gas, you can get gas. That's as far as I know.
Walmart, Sam's Club. Yeah, you can get gas through that. Right now, I can get gas by using Dash because I use a BitCart to buy an Irving Oil gift card off of Amazon, and it's a little plastic card you can just swipe like a credit card at the gas stations. But as far as I know, for the U.S., Irving is only in New Hampshire and maybe a little bit in Vermont and Maine, and I think some in Canada. But like for me, it's great because it's usually the cheap gas station anyway. So yeah, another advantage of living out here, but we're still in that hacky sort of mode. I would really love for there to be better options, but I mean, not like I'm complaining about using Magic Digital Cash stuff.
What, like an ATM in New Hampshire?
Yeah, and there's a few General Bytes ones, and I know everyone who owns them. And so I could just basically be like, look, start taking Dash. Start selling Dash out of these things. And then it's coming. Like, that's the magic. I got two bike shops to accept Dash through one Facebook comment, right? It's not the magic of me at all. No, it was some dude, some friend of mine bought his bike parts with Ethereum at a bike shop that he knew the owner, and he said, and then I just made a comment in the Facebook post about it. Hey, I can get you listed on discoverdash.com if you take Dash. And he just said, done, we take Dash now. And I'm like, sweet, both the Salem and Manchester locations? Like, yep. And by coincidence, like a day or two later, yesterday, I bumped into him at this Swarm City launch party in Portsmouth. So Swarm City is a Ethereum-powered app that's trying to be the first user-facing Ethereum DApp. So it's trying to be like the first actual use case for Ethereum beyond ICOs, like that's actually being used by real people. So they had a launch party thing, and then this bike shop owner showed up because he knew some of the people doing the launch. So I just chatted with him. Apparently he uses a Jax plugin, and he just takes it that way. And so anyway, that was very interesting how that played out.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, I actually spoke to General Bytes earlier today.
The general himself? Or did you have to go through the major first?
I spoke to a chap called Martin from support, and this was more to follow up because we actually did an article this week on the new ATM in New Hampshire. However, in last week's podcast, we did actually mention Coin ATM Radar website, and however, there's like 836 ATMs registered in America, in US, but on their map filter, if you untick those to just Dash, I believe only 2 ATMs are registered. Now, we already know from General Bytes that all the operators can actually enable their device to actually accept Dash as well. It's just a firmware update. It's very simple for them to do. So I got in contact with General Bytes just to find out what was going on. And I said to them that, is there any way, because on the General Bytes website, they have a map as well of their ATMs, of their locations, and they've got over 400 at the moment. And I said to them, is there any way to know how many of these ATM Dashes are accepting Dash? And they kind of gave me an interesting response. They said that they're unable to see their customer transactions and configurations as it's decentralized, just like Dash itself. So why I wanted to know about these ATMs is because the community doesn't know what the ATMs are selling Dash. So if you don't know they exist, that's the problem, right? So the conclusion that I came to and I asked them to do is that they have a newsletter for all their own operators because people purchase their ATMs from General Bytes and put them in a location. I think their cheapest ATM is about $3,000. Anyway, so the conclusion is, I said, why don't you send out a newsletter to all your operators, and we can do like a poll that who's accepting Dash, and to get directly in contact with me, Mark at dashforcenews.com, and we can then add those ATM locations to the merchant map as well, because we need to know where these places are. If no one knows where they exist, then they're no good to us, right? So potentially they probably are, because the firmware update's been around for some time now. But that's an interesting update. So hopefully in the next week or two, they will get back to me. Apparently they do the newsletter like once a month or something. So it sounds quite promising. So it'll be interesting to see how many of those 400 are actually accepting Dash. And that would be a great addition.
Crypto Teller in the chat says, yeah, not true. General Bytes default is to run from the General Bytes central servers. So they should have some data.
Right. Well, I can only say what Martin said for me. I actually copied the live chat that I had and actually shared it in our special work Dash Force Slack for the guys to see of the conversation. So that's how they've said it to me. And I guess, I mean, why would they say they would go in a newsletter and ask all their operators to say, you know, who's asking it and to get in contact with us? If that was the case, I mean, like, I'm not saying what you're saying is not true, but obviously, that, you know, from my experience today, it seems like they have no process or no way of telling who's accepting Dash. Now, I would have thought they would have had some kind of records or logs, but from their point of view is they sell the Dash ATM and then everything's up to the operator. They've got no control over their configuration at all.
And they said they were going to do like a poll or something like that?
Yeah, so basically, they don't know who's accepting Dash. So I suggested, why don't you do, in your next newsletter, do an outreach to say, hey, you're an operator, are you accepting Dash? If yes, get in contact with Mark from Dash Force. And the incentive in that is that letting people, the Dash community, know that you actually exist, because at the moment, the Coin ATM radar map is not updated. It's not on the Discover Dash merchant map either. So you're missing out on lots of business. So having these operators know that we're looking to be proactive and let the community know that they exist, I think is a great thing. So hopefully they will get back to me, and then, you know, in a week or two, we'll have some great results. But, you know, if you don't shoot, you don't score, guys. You've got to get out there and make this stuff happen. You can't just wait.
As long as they just tell you which one's answered, I don't think they really need to get in contact with you at all. Just say, you know, which location, this one here, that one there, and then we can just look it up and add it.
Yeah, that's the problem though. It looks like they don't want to do any admin work themselves. That's why I kind of suggested either a poll or just to contact me directly. So they said, like, imagine like a newsletter in your email. So basically they're going to say, Mark from Dash Force is interested if you're selling Dash, because Coin ATM Radar and our map doesn't actually show currently any of you accepting Dash, which is bad for them, right? Because they make business by people.
Yeah, I mean, especially because.
Do we know how many total General Bytes ATMs are out there?
Yeah, there's over 400 at the moment. So, and that's throughout the world as well. They're not just isolated to America. They're throughout the world, even in some pretty remote locations. So I think this is really, really ideal. Also, as well, last week I mentioned Bitlish, that with the 5,000 ATMs before the end of the year. They've still not got back to me yet, but I'm going to persevere. This is what I was just saying before. You have to keep pushing. You can't just sit and wait for this to happen. If you don't shoot, you don't score. It's good for the Dash ecosystem, so we need people power to make this stuff work. So
yeah, they don't have an email. Yeah, I sent them two tweets. There's two different Twitters, and I sent them a Twitter.
They do have a support email address on the thing, and also, and the interesting thing is on their fees on their website, where they have Dash registered, it says that the fees are 0 for Dash, where they're more for everyone else. So, I mean, if that is the case, that's pretty amazing.
Yeah, but, they did have a support. We were looking for an email just to get the community involved, but we decided we don't want to flood their support. I mean, maybe if a couple of us do it, but we didn't want to so we just said Twitter.
Yeah, they've got a Zendesk type contact support solution. So I've contacted them, but by all means, people power, tweet them and let them know that we mean business. That's all we can ask for the community. Unfortunately, I've not really had a response from them from my tweet from last week. So, I mean, hopefully, if we get quite a few, they might take notice. I'm just assuming they're very busy at the moment. But either way, in terms of Dash and ATMs, that's something that we really need to improve on. That's why I'm kind of focusing on it at the moment, because ever since we've done the Discover Dash.com website with the map, we added the category for ATMs, and it was only really then that we're just like, wow, like none of these Dash ATM are registered anywhere. Like no one knows where these are. So that's why, you know, we're just trying to use our initiative and make sure that, you know, it's a win-win scenario for all parties involved. So I don't see an issue with it. There just seems to be a communication issue in getting that information out to the community. So hopefully it won't be much longer, and we'll have some good results in the next week or two.
Some people don't like the ATMs for some reason. I don't know, but yeah, the more we get, also the better the price will be, because some of the charges are just insane. The fees on some of these ATMs. But the more that's out there, the more competition, the lower those fees will go.
Yeah, I mean, the interesting thing is that we have a Western mindset, and if you go to the General Bytes website, they have a map as well with all the map pins on all the locations, and you can see that a number of those locations are very, very remote places, and a lot of countries don't have exchanges like we do. So actually getting hold of Dash is incredibly difficult, right? Well, just Bitcoin, any crypto in general. So they do actually play an important role. It's all about accessibility and the freedom of choice, how you wish to purchase Dash. Some people hate using exchanges. I know Joel's not a big fan of exchanges, for example. So
never
it's all
needed
about,
them.
it's freedom of choice, right?
Yeah, I've quit using the exchanges. I just shapeshift everything now. It's so much easier in the Jax wallet.
Yes. Well, remember Amanda's pain points, for example. A lot of people just get into crypto. I mean, we've seen the hockey stick, which took the whole cryptocurrency market cap to over 100 billion. And so many new people coming in, they don't know, let alone the technical details of all the cryptos. They just want to get hold of it, because I'm assuming most of them are doing it for speculative reasons and not really for the end game sort of solution, right? So, I'm not, they're not the number one priority for me, but they do play an important instrumental role in adoption. And at the moment, the Dash community is shifting more towards business adoption. So the more open and exposure we can get in terms of outreach in these ATMs, all better. So for me, it's like I said, it's a win-win scenario, right? We've got nothing to lose, but we've got more to gain. So
yeah. More ATMs, the better.
Yeah, right. Guys, I can't believe we haven't actually spoke about it yet, but Davis Dos Santos is fighting tonight. The first cryptocurrency sponsored MMA fighter. Now, I'm not actually a big MMA fan, and Brian actually had to school me a little bit on the whole, UFC and all that sort of thing. But where I've been involved with the team, interviewing, helping out the logo, obviously Dash Force funded the Dash mouth guard. That fight's tonight. And now we've seen his sort of backstory. If you've not been to dashforcenews.com this week, you should really check it out, because there's a really great article that I did where I spoke to the team and got his whole backstory and saw the hardship and struggles that he's been through that has no doubt shaped the fighter that Dos Santos is today. Really does have like the heart of a warrior. It's not just about money to him. You can tell he's very passionate about this.
Yeah, and he's pretty ripped too.
He's a beast. I saw in actually the TKO MMA Facebook page yesterday. They had like the live weigh-in video stream, and I watched it, and it was about like a 40-minute video, and it was a bit boring where they're going up, weighing them and ticking the boxes and stuff. And then obviously they have the lineup where they face each other and have the photo opportunity. And Dos Santos was the only one that was smiling. And when faced with his opponent, instead of putting the thing, he was like, I did like his like lion face and stuff. And you can see he's really, he loves this stuff. And his last two fights in TKO have both resulted in knockouts within 30 seconds. So, I mean, we joke about, you know, instant send and instant knockout. He seems the ideal candidate for Dash. But guys, you're more into MMA than me. So how big is this for you guys?
Well, it's going to be on UFC Fight Pass too, so that's big.
Yeah, what would be big for me is if he managed to get a 1.3 second KO, that would be everything for me. I'd say we give him a master node. If he does that, just like take a master node. Come on, you deserved it. Because 30 seconds is still like, that's like, I don't know, that's still not quite instant send fast. But hey, what am I saying, right?
Can y'all see the screen share that I've pulled up? Is it showing a screen share? Yeah, that's his shorts there with the logo. But yeah, it'll be on UFC Fight Pass. There's gonna be a lot of eyes on this fight. Is it tonight?
Yes, it's tonight, and it's 7. Well, on the website it says 6 p.m., but it really kicks off at 7:30 Eastern time. Yes, and it's on the Fight Network, and it's on the UFC Fight Pass. But one thing I really do think that we should make clear here, that this sponsorship was not a treasury funded proposal. It was actually purely funded by donations at a grassroots level by the whole Dash community, right? So the great story behind this is the whole international Dash community got behind Dos Santos in the Telegram international groups, Brazil, Russia, everyone's really looking forward to this event. And just from our podcast last week, the common theme that keeps coming up, people keep asking about advertising, marketing. And what I want to say to everyone that's listening that kind of has that mindset is just saying, look, even if you're not an MMA fan, it's important to acknowledge that this is like an amazing marketing, advertised, televised event, right? And it's going to give so much exposure to Dash, and it's engage new markets and audiences that aren't necessarily associated with the crypto world. And as Brian says, UFC Fight Pass in 2016 was estimated to have over 450,000 paid subscribers. But in addition to that, it's been shown on the Fight Network, which is shown globally in over 32 countries across Europe, Africa, and the Middle East. And that has over 3 million subscribers. So we've really got to thank the Dash community, because it was kind of like bounty funded. They wanted to see this, and that just shows you the strength behind the Dash community for really, really making this happen. So like, I salute everyone in the Dash community for making this work. And don't forget, with all these fights in terms of pay-per-view live events, they get uploaded to YouTube to live forever. So the amounts of millions of eyes that are going to be on this event is just going to be fantastic, not just for people in the audience, but people watching at home. So, and for the amount of money of the sponsorship, I think, what was it? Because we did an article, and I think it was about like 9 Dash that was raised. So obviously he has other sponsors as well. But
we sponsored it. Dash Force sponsored the mouth guard. The community sponsored the shorts. We sponsored the mouth guard.
Yeah. So basically, as a kind of a gift, we was actually trying to push the Dos Santos team. I was trying really hard to get them to wear the Dash t-shirts, because we did an article before the one this week for the previous fight with the results. I think it was called Meet the Dash MMA fighter Davis Dos Santos. And basically, I made like the QR code for him to do in the video, because we had a video interview. You should probably check that out if you are interested in MMA. And yeah, and the idea what we was trying to really push was that for his whole team in the corner, because there's normally about 4 or 5 people in the ring in the corner with this teachers with the sponsors. We thought, how great would it be to get like Dash on the back with the QR code? What a great marketing and advertising way to get out there. But unfortunately, he's kind of gone through a change of management recently. So my contact with the team is still strong, but obviously they obviously wanted to focus on the fight, because they had to kind of change training locations and stuff. But however, yes, the logos that I designed for the short, so yeah, there's one on the front, we've got the whole right leg, and then there's one on the back with the Dash and Dash.org. And with the blue mouth guard, that should really get us some great coverage on TV. So yeah, I'm super excited about it.
Yep.
Yeah, it's definitely, we're blowing past Dogecoin in terms of what's sponsored, right? We got the Dash Fighter, we got the Dash Air Force, and then
Dash Circus.
yeah, Dash Circus, which is also known as the Three Amigos podcast. But anyway, jokes aside, I don't know what's going to be next, but a lot of people think like this advertising site type money is sort of thrown in the black hole or whatever. But then you notice all the large successful companies that do it, and it's definitely, if it's a large portion of your budget, it's not worth it. But if it's crucial for building brand awareness, right? People see that little Dash logo everywhere, and then they're like, when you're just like, oh, you have a T-shirt, that then they see someone who has a T-shirt that says, ask me about Dash digital cash, and then they're like, it gets in their head, and they're like, oh, what's this Dash stuff I've been hearing about? You can skip that Bitcoin step. You can skip that step of just like, well, like, hey, have you heard of Bitcoin? Yeah. Well, there's this thing that I'm pushing instead. It's like, oh, that little transition step just like takes so much wind out of the conversation.
We also have the crypto show tour. I don't know if it's still going on. And then I want to see that VW bus. The guy's getting that painted right now. The proposal wasn't passing. I hope it passes. I didn't think it was that much money. We got plenty in the budget. It'd be a cool little bus, another little tour.
Yeah, hopefully I should be doing a video interview with him on the person behind the proposals called Blake. And on Monday or Tuesday, depending on his availability, I'll be doing a video interview because I want to know a bit more about it, because he's based in Texas and he's driving around. He wants to go to a few meetup groups. He's painting the bus. I just want to know a bit more about it, and I'm sure the community would be interested in that as well. So,
he's been very active. Yeah, he's hustling. So I recognize his hustle, and yeah, I hope it gets passed.
Yeah, he seems like a really, seems like a really nice chap, really genuine. Yeah, he's shown links to his YouTube video, and I think he's done like 3 or 4 videos now, just showing how passionate he is. It seems like this isn't really about the money for him. So that's why people like that are genuine. He's obviously been in Dash for a long time. So anyone that's singing the good gospel with Dash and that is prepared to go to the main Bitcoin meetups in Texas and go and sing the gospel of Dash, then I'm more than happy to lend my ear 5 minutes and hear them out. So yeah, let's see what he has to say. So make sure you tune in on Monday or Tuesday on Dash Force News, and make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel, and yeah, and like this video as well, of course. Don't forget to do that.
Yes. So Adri from the chat says, can the treasury sponsor the short exclusively Dash only? Yes, they can. It depends on if that ends up being something that's deemed valuable, right? The thing is, this is not something that a proposal sponsored anything, right? So this just sort of cropped up out of the grassroots, and at some point, if he wins this fight and starts going parabolic, it might be worth sponsoring him exclusively, right? Getting the whole team to wear like Dash hats and QR code backs and everything like that. That might be something worth approaching. So that's something to think about.
Yes, that has always been the plan, because he was crowdfunded previously for his last fight at TKO 38, and that mainly came from the Brazil community, international Dash community. And then obviously with the amazing result that he had, everyone's sort of eyes lit up. So that's why it was kind of sponsored, crowdfunded this time, because everyone was completely excited about it. We had people in the Russian community as well trying to put pressure on crypto betting sites to bet on the fight itself. So this is a really great thing, and I can't begin to emphasize enough how important this is. We all saw the news this week with Dennis Rodman and the Potcoin situation, right? He wore a T-shirt. They funded him for a trip to go to North Korea, right?
Yeah, it must have been the entire coin supply of Potcoin.
Yeah, it doubled the price, and that's just sponsoring a trip. I mean, like, Potcoin's still not worth much, but I mean, it doubled the price. But look at all the eyes that are going to be on this potential thing. And the great thing is Dos Santos actually is genuinely interested in Dash as well. But I just wanted to to add, the reason I put my finger was because here's the thing, right? After this proposal, Dos Santos is in new team management now, right? So I'm going to help them. Well, the idea for them is to put in a proposal, okay? This is why I said to them, it would be a really great idea if you did the T-shirt thing, but obviously there was problems with the team and everything preparing for the fight. It was too short notice to get anything involved. But anyway, so there will be a proposal after this one. That's the plan. I don't think they're going to crowdfund this again. So really, it was just like a 2-time thing. But now there's a support there. Look at this last one as a kind of a pre-proposal, but people actually commenting with their donations, kind of like a GoFundMe for Dash. Really, like maybe we could have a website like Go Dash Me or something. But yeah,
Dash yourself.
How many other communities do things like this, like sponsored sporting events like this? So when everyone, there's always a few voices within the community, whether it's Reddit or Slack, say, oh, we need to do more marketing, we need to do this, we do need to do that. Things are happening, but the thing is, they're not forced. They're just naturally organic and come out of nowhere. So yeah, of course, I would love to see more sporting events. If you're watching and you've got any contacts in sports, especially if it's televised, and you think it's got a good idea, just say, what have you got to lose by just suggesting it? So like I said, if you don't shoot, you don't score. We can't sit back and just expect everything just to work perfectly. You've got to get involved. And that's what we do. So I'm just a coordinator. So when I saw this Dos Santos thing, I got involved. So that, because I knew it was a great thing to really engage with a new target audience. Anyway, I don't want to spend too much talking about Dos Santos, because I'm sure everyone's going to be talking about it later in the Slack, Reddit, everywhere. So
one more MMA. I would love to see, it's probably not possible, but I would love to see a sponsorship for this Conor McGregor, Floyd Mayweather fight. I don't know what, if it was just something, even just anything small, anything. There's plenty of time, but yeah, that's my wish.
Yeah,
well,
I think that that fight's already sucked up just about all the money in the universe anyway.
Yeah, $100 million each, apparently.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I would talk more about my opinions on that, but it's kind of a little bit off topic for what we're doing here. But yeah, it's getting to the point where I don't know. We're in a weird position with the cryptoverse, right? We started with the early just Bitcoin everything days, and then we're starting to move to an area of the ICO era with a lot of like corporate coins and stuff. And the next level on, where hopefully Dash is going to be at the forefront, is going to be an interesting thing to see. It's all figuring out where it's going to be, right? Like, for example, with Ethereum, we had the idea that like pretty soon people are going to be using it for smart contracts, and it's that we're going to be powering decentralized applications everywhere here, left, right, center. And it turned out that what the market decided was, first, Ethereum was a good hedge against Bitcoin, a good alt Bitcoin. And the other thing the market decided was ICOs, right? Just crowdfunding model. Like the ICO is the major use case for Ethereum right now. And a lot of times people couldn't have, thought that was going to be where it turned out. Same thing with Bitcoin. Who would have thought that Bitcoin would be this like digital gold store of value stock thing? I mean, it was supposed to be because it was so easy to use and send to anyone in the world. And just the reality of the game just changed. It just, and so Dash is on a very specific mission to be digital cash. And I think it will succeed in that way. But we still don't know what the future holds, like what people are going to be paying with, what people are going to use these different coins for. And sometimes you don't have complete control over what happens. For example, with the Alt36 integration, Dash is definitely going after the medical cannabis industry, right? The legal cannabis industry. And it might just be that people who are not in that world don't largely see enough of a use out of it in the short term. It becomes the pot coin, for lack of a better term. Could be something like that. Could be third world coin, right? Where the third world that doesn't have banking services really just jumps on the Dash or just using it to get rich, and it's doing great. But just the rest of the first world, just it's very kind of like here, there. It's not everywhere, but it's everywhere in the third world. It's like, oh, back over there, they use it all over the place. So we never know how this is actually going to end up being used by people, because we can't speak for all of humanity.
Right, but Joel, that was really great that you brought up Alt36, because there was actually a project update recently, and I can't stress how important and instrumental this is going to be. It's going to be a game changer. So what was the update? Basically, Alt36 gave an update saying they've now partnered with several Arizona cannabis operators with significant influence in the local market. But that's not it. That's just the small part. Additionally, Alt36 have received a signed letter of intent from one of the largest online B2B, that stands for business to business if you don't know, trading platforms in the cannabis industry, requesting implementation of the Alt36 platform upon product completion. Why this is important is that they've made progress on having continued conversations and planning with 2 of the largest cannabis POS, point of sale, companies in the market. These point of sale systems will be implementing the Alt36 platform in their systems to enable Dash transaction purchases between the consumer and retail locations, as well as Dash transactions between retail locations, vendors, and suppliers. So it's not just people coming in to buy cannabis, it's the suppliers, it's the vendors, it's the distribution, it's everything. So why should you care about this? Because, I mean, I don't smoke cannabis, right? But this is so huge. It's going to have such a massive impact. What you should know is, here's the things you should know. Alt36 has agreed to 36 months of exclusivity to Dash, right?
It's right there in the name.
Now, Business Insider reported in 2016 that North American marijuana sales alone topped 6.7 billion. Yeah, just think about that for a second. Let that soak in. That's over 6 times the current market cap of what Dash is right now. Yeah, you're listening now, aren't you? However, forget that. In 2016, that the cannabis industry expected it to be worth 50 billion by 2026, and that's a conservative outlook. So in terms of long-term for Dash, it looks very promising and very positive. It gets very easy to get sucked into the daily price movements and fluctuations, but I always focus on the long-term development. I look at the projects coming that are actually going to impact the price and change the direction of the crypto sphere in general. So Alt36 is a game changer for cryptocurrency in general, and everyone should be keeping a close look. And they're going to be giving monthly updates on this one, and the next one is the 5th of the 5th of the next month, so coming up. So I will do another update on that as well when that comes out. But great, guys, how fantastic is that?
Yeah, somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that also we're supposed to, it's not just going to be cannabis dispensaries, but they're supposed to have like a MasterCard network or something that we're supposed to be able to plug into with the Alt36. So just all across the board, from what I remember. It's been a while since I read the original proposal.
Yeah, so so basically you've got a whole POS integrated system, right? So all the payments, whatever people do, would be done through that. But everything in terms of transactions will be done through Dash. And if the 2 top leading POS providers for all the cannabis industry are going to be using Dash, that is huge. And there's going to be no other cryptos because we've got that 36 months exclusivity. Now, there's a huge security issue now that's going on because the cannabis industry is so huge. And because of regulations, all these dispensaries have potentially millions of dollars. They've got bunkers. They've got security fans coming up. It's not a good situation to be in security-wise. So they are pleading. They need this solution as soon as possible. So, hopefully it won't be too much longer. I don't have an ETA on it right now because they're doing it on a month-by-month update process. But the things are falling into place, right?
Part of Yeah, part of their software also does like the taxes and all the regulatory stuff. So it's going to make life much easier for all the dispensaries and everybody. Anybody who, if they do branch out, which I believe that's what it said, then yeah, anybody who deals with crypto and taxes, their software is just going to be one complete package.
Yep, it seems to be a one-stop solution, not just for retail, but the vendors, the distribution network, the suppliers, everything. So it's going to be huge, because even those estimates and those billions of dollars from Business Insider and Bloomberg, I don't think that includes the suppliers and distribution network as well. I think they're just talking purely from a retail level. So the level is actually probably a lot higher than that. And yeah, so it's going to be huge. It's obviously a growing thing, and don't forget, this is just in North America.
Right, worldwide. Yeah.
So I mean, there obviously is a trend. I mean, I can't see it being adopted in the UK soon, but the world seems to be going a lot more liberal about this sort of thing, and it's working for a lot of states. Obviously, a lot of countries are in debt, and it's a great way to generate tax revenue, right? So especially if it's regulated from itself, right? Otherwise, they're throwing money away. So I think a lot of governments now are waking up to this and saying, right, this is actually a really good idea to generate money as well. So yeah, although I don't smoke it, I care about it a lot, because it's going to change the game completely.
Yeah, and if you think about it, it's the missing link to being able to be universal, right? Is just get it into a point of sale system that a lot of people use. And part of that, I mean, imagine if something like Square, that little chip thing you plug in, may give like a card reader into your phone, right? What happens if something like that integrates Dash? Then all of a sudden you can do it everywhere. And as soon as you get one or two of those things, then you can just say, everyone, you can use Dash, and then the whole world, switches over in just a matter of moments.
Yeah, if the world's changing, and I really want to plug an article that Joel did the other day. So it's probably at the beginning of the week, actually, and it was called "Satoshi Nakamoto has done more to end the Fed than Ron Paul." Now I know, and I hope the guys won't mind me disclosing it, but they're big fans of Ron Paul, right? Even I'm familiar with Ron Paul because I kind of come from a precious metals background before cryptocurrency. So the whole audit the Fed thing was, I really related to. So this article, I really think touched on a great, and it was a genius idea from Joel, because it engages with certain audiences, so outside the cryptocurrency bubble, but they have the knowledge and insight to know what's going on from a monetary point of view as well. So, Joel, do you want to give us a small insight into that article? Because I found it fascinating.
Yeah, so it comes from the perspective of central banking having been not the best way forward for global finance. And there's a lot of issues that come with central banking that, in my opinion, it's because of central banking as a system, not just the current state. But let's just, for devil's advocate's sake, say it's just the way it is right now. There's a lot of inflation going on, devaluing currencies. There's a lot of corruption, bailouts, things like that. And just to be able to reform that system or get onto a different system it's a hot topic. I mean, you got people from Ron Paul, who is, while he's known as like the libertarian Jesus in the United States, he is sort of, one can call him right wing as well, because he appealed to a lot of conservatives. And then you get Bernie Sanders, who is sort of like the left wing side of it, both with this similar message of the Federal Reserve needs to be audited and reined in, or whatever, the U.S. Central Bank. So it's a pretty spectrum-wide concern that there's something wrong with central banking. And there's been so many deliberations, so many laws, so many bills, and just nothing's come of it. So what if, instead of all that, there was a better solution? And guess what? It turns out there is, because of what Satoshi Nakamoto put in motion, anyone can be their own bank anywhere in the world, right? Just anyone. All you need to do is download a little app and you can just get started. And that's the thing I noticed with, I believe there's 11 businesses in New Hampshire that take Dash, right? right now that are listed on Discover Dash. I know there's a lot more, but everyone that I've seen around here, including those 2 bike shops I mentioned earlier, they take it straight. It's just straight into a wallet. They don't have a processor, the fiat conversion, anything. And so anyone can just get started just about, well, figure out what you want to do with it. And do you want to mess with it? Right? Do you want to just, how am I going to pay stuff with it? How am I going to convert? If you don't want to mess with any of that, yeah, you kind of need a fiat gateway. But if you do, if you're just fine with it, anyone can use this right now. Like literally, if you just got the whole population of one town to just collectively agree, yeah, let's all work on crypto, all of a sudden you can just get rid of banking right there. It just, and a lot of people are talking about Dash Evolution is going to blow everyone's socks off. It's going to blow your grandmother's socks off. It's going to be amazing. And yeah, sure, that's true. I'm very excited for Evolution when that does end up coming out. However, I don't think we need to wait for it, right? I think Dash is ready now. You can already have a nice, reliable mobile phone app. You can always beep, scan, send, receive. It's all there right now.
Yeah, it'll just be much easier, but there is an update coming. Yes, sir.
Did you, in the live chat, Stephen Hill has just said Dash is digital hash. That would make a great article headline title. We should definitely write that one down and do it for Alt 36. That's great thinking, Stephen. Love the idea.
There's got to be like some like indica strain or something that they can just call like Dash Blue or something like that. I don't know how those things work too much, but I'm pretty sure you could do like a branded cannabis strain after Dash.
Right. Let's get some insight from Brian here so I can get you more involved. So what is this a bubble right now? Should people be panicking? In your opinion, is this going to go higher, lower? What do you think? What's going in that head of yours?
Dash or crypto in general?
Just crypto in general.
It's obviously going to go higher. Are we in a bubble right now? Nobody knows. I mean, we could go to $10,000 before. It is a bubble to a certain extent, but at what point the bubble pops? It could go way, way, way higher, and it will in the future for sure. Yeah. Do
you think Dash is one of the safest cryptos in the top 10 to be in terms of
right now? Yeah, I was looking at the chart last night. It looks like we are stabilizing. I'm fixing to move in and get my last masternode fired up. Yeah, I think it's time.
Ooh.
I'm scared of Bitcoin. I'm not scared of Dash. The Dash, we're very stable. Bitcoin is what I'm scared about popping, but it seems to be just kind of stabilizing out too. I don't know. Who knows?
The advantage of Dash, right, is our masternodes. That gives us our stability. Nearly 2/3 of the total supply of Dash is tied up in masternodes. So when it comes to volumes of fluctuations in the whole crypto sphere, Dash is pretty rock solid, and you can't really say that for the other crypto coins because they don't kind of have that line of defense that we do as well, because Mastodon is actually incentivized to keep it, right? Because they're paid monthly. So why would they throw away free money? So this is, and obviously they're invested in the project, right? Because if you're going to make that commitment of 1,000 Dash, you're not going to be willy-nilly jumping into coins here, there, and everywhere, right? You've made a commitment, a big commitment. So if you have any friend, if you're watching and you have friends and family talking about this, then that's a really good point to hit home. And do the maths yourself. Take them to coinmarketcap.com and say, look, here's the supply. It's over 7 million, and we've got 4,500 masternodes, 4,500 time 1,000, 4.5 million, right? Think about it. So it's so simple to point out. And I really think that's a really key strength, and we should, be hitting that home all the time. So especially to people that just speculate. So, I don't really want to appeal to them because I want genuine people that believe in the project, not just, but swings and roundabouts, right?
Yeah. No, of course, speaking of the whole speculative thing, Litecoin shot up a few places. It's now in 4th place at 1.8 billion, right? And I have a big suspicion that a lot of that has something to do with the big crash that happened with all these people shaking out of Bitcoin, thinking there's going to be a split coming. Oh gosh. So they're grabbing for the nearest thing. And we're gonna see. It's funny because the whole like digital cash mantle was Bitcoin's entirely, with just a few little people just saying, "Well, no, but me too." But they're all novelties, right? Dash included. And now Dash is making some serious headway, right? And now the question wasn't even approached, right? Of like, what's the best digital cash out there? Who knows? No one's even approached that question. And now that Bitcoin is starting to go lower, and in the event of a split, I can easily imagine there being two coins worth 20 billion a piece or something, or or lower even, or one worth 20, one worth 5, or however it ends up working out. Uh, I think that once we have two Bitcoins, right, and then we have like Dash and Litecoin, now you got 4 competitors for digital cash. And then once you have 4 competing on who's going to be the best one, the advantages are going to be very, very obvious, right? I mean, right now the average. I look at the average, when you average it out, the average Dash transaction fee is something like 11 or 12 cents. But if you actually just look at the price thing, the overall, the by count, the vast majority, that almost all Dash transactions are 2 cents, right? So
Wow.
just anything sent back and forth, 2 cents. You can make it more expensive for instant send. So you got the cheap transactions. Litecoin's pretty cheap too, but the instant transactions, Litecoin doesn't have that. Privacy, right? Never broken privacy, courtesy of Dash. Yeah, no one else has that either, really. I mean, there's different anonymous coins, but they're a pain to use. I mean, Monero, you have to have the entire blockchain to have the Monero wallet, unless you want to use Fluffy Pony's wallet, which is kind of a lot of people lost a lot of money on that. It's not very secure. So, and also you have to pay like $1.50 at least for to transact in Monero. And Zcash, as far as I know, the shielded transactions are only available via command line wallet.
Mm.
So Dash has just got all these advantages piling up over these things, and also just the massive treasury budget that can just give it the leg up.
Yeah, Litecoin was doing something I saw. I think the price went up because of they're doing something with Lightning Network. Is they're activating something or something new with the Lightning Network thing. But the thing about that is it's going to take years before that's all in your mobile phones and everything like that. That's not just that's a long-term solution. Who knows what kind of I mean, it definitely opens up new attack vectors and stuff like this. And I mean, it's we don't know what's going to happen with that, but it's their instant transactions and privacy and all that. That's years off before it's universal on all your devices and everything else.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting because all the stuff Litecoin's doing is copying Bitcoin, right? And this includes this too. And just because Bitcoin hasn't implemented that, there's a certain segment of the Bitcoin fan base that wanted all these things. They just wanted SegWit because Core said it was a good idea. Litecoin has SegWit, and then the price pumped it in accordance with that. And then, oh well, how are you going to scale Bitcoin stuff long term? Well, you're going to have like Lightning networks and stuff, and so Litecoin is just jumping into that, just like chasing the Bitcoin hype. And so there's a bunch of people who just wanted those things in Bitcoin, who were just frankly probably never going to get it, that are now being just chasing after the next best thing in Litecoin. So it's funny how irrational these markets are, because it's not like, well, Litecoin got SegWit and is going for Lightning networks, which will have the effect of making Litecoin transactions much faster, much cheaper, no, it's just they got these things and these things are cool, or
Yeah.
they told us these things are good. It just doesn't make any practical sense. But
Yeah.
when you have actual businesses relying on these kinds of things, yeah, you might give Dash a second, third, fourth, fifth look.
Yeah, the Lightning Network is semi-centralized. I used to say it was centralized. I think Evan said it was federated, but it's also there's going to be fees involved. There's also there's potential for censorship, which the censorship can be routed around. I was talking to somebody about this the other day. The censorship will be able to, you'll be able to route around the censorship, like the cannabis industry, people maybe in guns, firearms industry. There's going to be censorship. You'll be able to route around it, but I'm suspecting that for that service, the fees are going to cost you more if you're going to go into these industries that they don't like, just like a BitPay or these other third parties that Bitcoin relies on. I believe they still have the cannabis industry banned from using BitPay, which makes sense. They don't want any problems at BitPay, but that's the problem with third-party centralized type services.
Yeah, guys. So for the last few minutes, I've been a bit quiet because I just wanted to make sure I got my numbers right.
All right. Before you do that, one last thing on. I just got this not through the live chat, but through the Dash Nation Slack live chat. Right.
Okay.
It says Goobadoo says, could core team get a proposal up to get Dash on eGifter, as Joel said? That would be a fantastic catch. Yeah, I've been trying. Just got to get open the dialogue with eGifter first. So, because if you have Dash and eGifter partnering, right, you could just literally just say, go to almost any major retail location in the United States. I don't know how much it works in other countries, and then you could just go to a Burger King, go to a Whole Foods, go to a, Abercrombie and Finch clothing store, go to Home Goods to buy some like crappy art decorations for your whatever it is. Go to Target, right? And then find out the total and then just enter in how much it is and pay for it in Dash and then just scan the gift code.
Yeah, if we do it through the budget system, I would like to see like an initial discount or something just to get it kickstarted. Give Dash an initial. I mean, if we're going to be paying for the integration, let's get something.
Yeah, it's people power again. Once again, can't sit back and expect core to do everything, right? Yes, there is a business development team, and I'm sure there's probably going to be another announcement on the 30th of this month.
Yeah, I asked for an interview with Daniel Diaz like about a month ago, and it's coming. So I assume I'm assuming all the best, and that they're extremely overworked. Core has been very thorough and very conscientious and very quick to respond on everything. And this last month or two has been like ghost townsville.
Core is working on.
Yes,
they're working on a solution.
Working so hard. So guys. They're working so hard.
Okay, so on the 30th of June, Daniel Diaz is heading to Brazil to a conference to talk. So all I would say, I can't say anymore, but I would keep an eye on that event. So he's obviously going there for a reason. So I think it would be wise of you to probably mark that in your calendar. Okay. Anyway, what I wanted to say, and I think you guys will probably find this interesting because it probably goes into the cloud and the bubble. I mean, how many of you watching here of your friends and family are using cryptocurrency? Probably a small amount, right? So what is the market cap of whole cryptocurrency at the moment? I think it's about 110 billion, right? So let's get some perspective here, right? This will make you think about it. And especially if you've got friends that say it's in the bubble right now, should wait for it to go down. Just think, 110 billion. Is that a big amount of money in the grand scheme of things? So what I was Googling to check to make sure I got my numbers right, you got people like Bill Gates, whose net worth is 89 billion. So he's a bit under the market cap, but he's all right. Then you've got Warren Buffett.
He's all right.
with 76 billion. But these are just people, right? These are just individuals. What if you take it up a notch? 1 second. What about companies? Well, Apple's net worth, for example, is 750 billion. Think about that for a second. Let the penny drop. Yeah, I'm still scratching the surface because it gets a lot deeper than that, right? When you start going down the rabbit hole and you think, well, how much money is there out there to play with? The biggest market is the derivatives market, right? And what do you think about that? Billions? Trillions?
Trillions. There's trillions.
No, 1.2 quadrillion.
Wow.
And that was an estimate from last year. The truth is, no one really knows because all these banks have, the casino arm where they just gamble with derivatives like ETFs, where they're not actually really buying anything. It's just futures and options. It's a huge problem. It's completely out of control. But if they're speculating on that, then that shows you how much money really is available. So is it a bubble? Has it reached its all-time high? No, I don't think so. I think it's still in its infancy. And in fact, if you look, just Google, what are the largest hedge funds, right? So you could take a single hedge fund, and I think one of the biggest is BlackRock. Now, I'm doing this from memory here. I did actually have this written down somewhere, but I've lost track of it. But I think it's something like they offer lots of different funds, right? And I think collectively, I think it's probably close to 700 billion as well, right? So just think about it. Just think about it for a second. The whole market cap, 110 billion. The derivatives market, 1.2 quadrillion. Now, if you're really interested and you want to take it further, you go to USA Debt Clock, right? So we was talking about Ron Paul earlier, and his whole thing on the whole monetary system is about the M2 money supply, right? We don't like central banks because they create money out of thin air. The former governor of the Bank of England, Sir Mervyn King, I'm not reading this, so this is from memory as well, but it really stayed with me, is that new money is created through the existence of new loans, right? So there's never enough money in existence to pay off the money that's currently available. That's why they call it the death and debt paradigm, right? Because there's only two certain things in life, death and taxes. So people, obviously, we're against centralization, but this is why it's important to understand the fundamentals, right? Would you go to a betting shop and bet on a horse race? And if each horse was a cryptocurrency, yet you knew nothing about each horse, how long it'd been about, who was riding the horse, founder, what was the history, track record, how well have they done in the past? You wouldn't just blindly speculate and gamble, right? You do the fundamentals. So when you see all the money that's out there and what's to play with, there's, we've got a lot further to go, guys. So, and that's not even talking about countries' M2 money market supply. I could go on and on and on, but I think I've made my point here pretty clear. And I hope that has resonated with you guys as well, because you guys watching probably, you've got money invested in this, right? So you want to know what's going on.
Oh, there's a long way to go. When I talk bubbles, it's just, then we get a bubble and then it goes up and down and up and down. Yeah, there's people, I think the Winklevoss twins said Bitcoin could go to 40,000 per Bitcoin. The guy from Expo or XAPO, he said that it could go to 1 million per Bitcoin. But yeah, there's going to be bubbles up and down all along the way.
Right, guys, how are we doing for time?
That's what I was going to say. We were,
way over today.
Yeah.
Are we? I don't even know how long we've been on for.
Quite a while. Yeah, I was going to say, if there's not any more questions, we got to wrap it up.
Yeah, it's like an hour and a half.
Wow.
Right, okay, guys, just a quick reminder. In less than 2 weeks' time, Joel is having an interview with Andy Freer, an update on evolution and roadmap. I keep seeing people ask this question day in, day out, whether it's a Slack or Reddit. It's coming. They're getting the paperwork and documentation. Keep it locked to Dash Force News. Joel, do we actually have a date pinpointed, or is it just under 2 weeks?
Not this coming Tuesday, but Tuesday after that.
Right, guys. So
Yes.
There you go. You've heard it from Joel.
My final little rant, right? Please, I never want to hear anyone ask again, when is Charlie Shrem's card coming out?
When
What's
is
up
it coming
with
out?
What's up with the 10X card? When's Evolution coming out? Are we there yet? He's hitting me. Stop pulling my hair.
You've got to be fair, right? You can't say never, but the thing is, it hasn't gone past their proposal date, right? So they've still got time to deliver it. It's not past its sell-by date yet.
It's getting close.
It's getting close, especially some of them. Don't get me wrong, but I don't want to say never, but going on every day is, once you get to that stage, because some people are getting pretty hostile, and we're welcoming friendly community. We want to encourage other people to do projects, right? And go to Dash Treasury. No doubt, Charlie Shrem, for example, has friends in powerful places and might have ideas coming across. So we don't want to rock the boat too much. Yeah. Yes, we're going to hold these people accountable, but it has to be done in the right way, people.
Yeah, I've heard people calling Charlie Shrem a scammer. Like, did he scam us out of? Like, no, he hasn't. It hasn't been the time yet. And then people are like, oh, what's the update on the Charlie thing? It's like, well, you mean about 8 hours ago, he posted something in the Dash Nation Slack and on the Dash Pay subreddit, and you just missed it. You just, when's Charlie? Like, come on, dude, just stop being lazy. Go think for yourself. Just, I know there's a time for is there an update? But when it just keeps coming and coming and coming, it's like, Evolution will be a very ambitious upgrade. It's going to do everything for you, right? It's going to be amazing. It's going to blow everything out of the water. And you know it's slated for late this year, and then it's going to be ongoing into next year and things like that, right? And that's just like estimates. They don't control time, right? And so then just someone, oh, maybe by the end of the summer, oh, maybe by fall, and then, well, but they're lying to us. When is it going to be that? Just chill, let them work. They'll get some updates. We'll just keep regular updates coming, just what to expect. But you know, it's a great team. There's a lot of them. They're not used to working with like 5 times as many people as they had before. So just cut them some slack. Let them do their job, right? I mean, it's not like nagging them is going to make them go any faster. It's saying, are we there yet? Are we at Evolution there yet? Are we there? It's like, no, well, all of a sudden the car teleported, entered a wormhole, and came through the other end. We got there sooner. Nah, just patient, guys, okay?
Yeah, cool. So let's begin to wrap it up. One last final thing as well. Dos Santos, if you go to the @Dash News, all one word, Twitter, share that tweet that's on there that has the shorts, the mouth guard, and Dos Santos, because the more coverage we get, the more chances that Cointelegraph, Bitcoiners might actually pick up the story, which will be huge. We want media coverage. So anyway, good luck to Dos Santos tonight. And yeah, guys, I hope you get behind that and share it as well. Regardless of whether you're MMA fans or not, this is a great thing for Dash. And yeah, Brian, any final words?
That's it.
Excellent. Okay, guys, that's it. Episode 4, Three Amigos, over and done with. So thank you for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe. Sorry we went a little over time, but we hope you enjoyed this episode. And yeah, until next week, we'll see you then. So stay dashy, folks, and take care.
Peace.